Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme, and today is another episode coming out of our Mixed Nuts series, and it's with a repeat guest, and that is Greg Spencer. Greg, thanks again for coming back.
My pleasure, Joe. You know I'm always available to talk.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. You're definitely one in the know when it comes to high school sports, and today the topic is Northern Kentucky high school girls basketball. We're going to mainly talk about the 9th region, but we're also going to touch upon a few of the teams that are in the 10th and the 8th region because they're having outstanding seasons. So let's just get right into it. As I mentioned offline, these RPI ratings change every day. And I went ahead and took the best teams as of a couple days ago. And no offense to those others that may be in the top 5 or 6 now, but it's just the nature of the beast. So first off, we're going to start with the Highlands Bluebirds, coached by Jamie Ritchie. They have a record of 14-10. Leading scorer, a senior by the name of Kaylee Mills, just over 12 points a game, and then followed up by a few other players in the 6 to 7 point range, and that would be Katie Bucher, Avery Barber, and Maddie Lickert. Have you seen them play this year?
I have, yeah. I've watched. You know, the nice thing is, for a lot of teams now, these games are online, and I watched a few Highlands games. One I particularly was when they played Notre Dame Academy. Really good game. They lost at the very end after getting down early. Made a nice comeback. Good team. A little inconsistent, I would say. Maybe they struggle offensively sometimes. You look at when they play a really good team, their offense has struggled to score, but they certainly have players. I really like the Mills girl. The Lickerts, I assume they're sisters. They're fun to watch. Jamie's daughter is only a freshman, but I was telling someone, I said, I think she's got a chance to be a really nice high school player when she's done.
There's a little bit of good basketball genes in that family because Jamie's Jamie Walls, Richie.
Yeah. 5,000 points, right?
She was pretty good back in the day, and her brothers were athletes too. Jeff, obviously, coaching down at Louisville.
Yeah. So, they've had a nice year. They've gotten, like I said, they've gotten handled by some of the better teams. So it'll be interesting to see what they can put together for the run. They'll, most likely they'll win the first. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you, how that district is set up because Newport didn't play a full varsity schedule, so I'm not sure if they're in the tournament. So I don't really know who they play the first round, but I'm just going to assume they win. And then you'll have, a nice matchup with either, most likely Newport Catholic would be my guess. And look, they've got a chance. My guess is you will definitely see them at the 9th region tournament. And, they could, put a game together. So it'll be fun. And the nice thing, I tell everyone, one of the benefits I have from officiating middle school basketball is you can see the kids that are coming through the pipeline.
Yep.
Jamie's got some really nice young talent coming her way. She's already got some up playing freshmen, and heck, some of them playing varsity as 8th graders. But she's got 2 really nice 6th grade guards coming up. One of them's LeBradford Smith's daughter. She's got a Whimsy girls, a 7th graders, long and athletic and talented. So the cupboard is definitely not bare at Highlands. They've got some really nice talent to go along with, her daughter and some other players now, but they've had a solid year. And, I think Jamie would, be happy overall with the year they've had.
All right, well, let's move on to St. Henry Crusaders, 14-10, coached by Daniel Train. Joey Powers is a junior leading the team at 11.4 points a game, and she's followed up with Audrey Pizonka, if I pronounced that correctly, a sophomore at 10.8 points a game. How does St. Henry look?
My old college classmate, Dan Train, has done a nice job there. They are the 1 seed in the district. I think a lot of people assumed Dixie would be the 1 seed when the season started, but St. Henry secured that. He's got them headed in the right direction. They're definitely on a trajectory up versus the other way. Like a lot of teams, they beat the teams they should beat, and then when they play the top tier teams, they get handled, right? They lost by 20 to Campbell County, lost by 18 to Notre Dame. So they're not there yet, but they're coming, and the 34th district, really one of the more interesting districts for the tournament, because as I said, Dixie was expected to be one, and they're either two or three. I'm not sure, but they could meet again. This is assuming if Dixie beats Lloyd. Dixie and St. Henry in the finals would be a really good game, because the first one was really good. I think it was a 2-point game, if I recall.
Hmm.
So it'll make a nice, fun matchup. And look, I haven't seen Dan coach in a while, but Dan used to be rather animated on the sideline. So, Dan had a big game. That could be fun to watch.
Newport Central Catholic, 18-9, coached by Trevor Steiner. Their leading scorer right now is a junior, Kendall Thompson, at 13.4 points a game. She's followed up by Brooklyn Cole, another junior, 11.1 points a game. This, according to KHSAA, is a very young team. I don't see a senior on there. Does that sound right?
You're right. They are a young team. This whole team will be back next year. I'm assuming the Geisler girls related to the Geisler boy, Jake Geisler, that played in about 2011, was really talented. So
Yeah.
it's a young team. Almost the same thing I'll say about them as I did about St. Henry. Definitely heading in the right direction. They're 19-9 this year. They've beaten all the teams they should beat, and they've been handled a few times. They battled Highlands hard, which makes it very interesting, because they are likely to meet in the 36th district championship. So, a good neighborhood rivalry, as you know, for being over there in Fort Thomas, that, some
Yep.
of the kids that go to NC live in Fort Thomas and grew up with all the girls they'll be playing against in Highlands. So it could be one of the more fun district championships that we'll see in the Northern Kentucky.
Ryle at 17-8, coached by Katie Heights, if I pronounced that correctly.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Jalen Jones, senior, scoring 20.5 points a game. That's quite a season. And then she's followed up with two freshmen, Jaden McLean and Emerson Dowell. So that's impressive to see the freshmen stepping up.
Well, I mean, they're an interesting team. Jalen Jones, let's talk about her for a second. Jalen Jones is probably the second best player in the region, I would say, this year. I believe she is committed to maybe Western Illinois, if I recall. So she's a Division I level player.
Okay.
Watched her play since her freshman year, and she's just continued to get better and turned into a really nice player. When you score 20, girls just don't, you don't see a lot of girls averaging 20. So it's impressive that she is.
Yeah.
And then you go to, Jade McLean, who is the 6'6" freshman,
6'6".
6'6" freshman, one of the top people in her grade in the entire country.
Wow.
Her dad was, for the UC fans that might remember, her dad was Biggie McLean, that played there.
Okay.
She's very skilled. Look, she's 6'6" and she's 14 years old, so she's still growing into her body and, getting more athletic. I know she works out with a trainer, and she's getting stronger, and, she looks like a baby deer out there sometimes, as you would expect when you're 14. She makes life hard on teams when they want to bring the ball inside. I mean, she's already probably set the career block record at Ryle.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good. The Dow girl, very good. The Hampton girl, so that's three freshmen that they can build around for not only this year, but the next three, that are all very talented, and, with more players coming behind them. So Katie's, played them a nice schedule. It's a young team, they are going to lose Jalen Jones, which is losing a lot.
Yeah.
But when you return a lot of talent, they'll be in good shape. So they're one of the teams that can make a run. They had, in the regular season, they had Cooper down, I don't know, I want to say 7 or 8 points at one point before Cooper came back and won the game. So, it's not a foregone conclusion that they won't win the 33rd or win the region, for that matter. They are certainly one of the teams that you would call a contender.
Well, talk to me about Cooper then.
So if we're talking about Cooper, they're the big dogs in the region. They've won the region 4 or 5 years in a row. They're the number one team in the region this year, probably top, I don't know, 10 or so in the state. They've played a tremendous schedule. Christian Prohaska, who used to be a Highlands player, as well as before she transferred to Boone County, played for Nell Fuchs. Real intense. So they've played a heck of a schedule, and they're led by the number one player in the region, which is Haley Knoll, and they've got a good core of, I don't know, 4 or 5 other players that can make life tough on you. Addison Brissy's probably she's a college level player. She's probably going to play, I think, Division II ball, if I recall correctly. Olivia Scott's a junior, along with Haley Knoll. They're not big, and Olivia sometimes has to play the big role for them, but she does it well. She hit I think 4 threes the other night when I watched them on. Brinkley Rankin's another guard. So the nice thing is about them, they lose Addison, who's their second leading scorer, but they return a lot out of it for next year. So them and Ryle will be fun in the district. They will come into the ninth region tournament as the favorite. And, just like the last 4 or 5 years, it's their show until someone, takes it away from them. So you got a
Mm-hmm.
legit chance to, have a run at state should they make it. They've turned into a powerhouse out in Union, and I don't know how much longer they've got in them, but they certainly have a good thing going.
Last two teams I've got on my list to talk about. First, Notre Dame. They've got a record 17-7, coached by George Stoll. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher this name. Their leading scorer is a senior, Emma.
Holtzapple, yep.
Okay, 12.9 points a game. A few other girls are down around 8 to 10 points a game. Sarah Young, Jocelyn Labordeaux, and Amelia Stollard. Your thoughts on the Pandas?
They're never a big scoring team, but they're always going to grind it out and make you work. And I think that their scoring shows that. Emma can get on a roll. She's going to go play college basketball at Bellarmine. She's an outside shooter. I watched them play Cooper early in the season, and I want to say she ended up with 7 to 8 threes in the game and probably had four or five in the first quarter that
Jeez.
propelled NDA to a big lead that they barely held on to. But she can get on a roll, so you definitely want to sell out and make her put the ball on the floor and don't let her get on a roll.
Yeah.
Sarah Young is probably, I had to think about it, probably the best, air quotes, big in the region right now. Well, the McLean girls got higher ceiling, but Sarah Young as a junior is very good. You can throw the ball into her. She can, make moves from the post. She's very good. New coach this year. Used to be at NCC for a while. Had a lot of success out there. And he's got, a nice team. Jocelyn Labordeaux Humphrey is going to play college basketball as well. She can get on a roll. She played well against Highlands in that game I mentioned earlier that I watched. And the Stowler girl is nice too. And then if they've got their 5 healthy girls, they're one of the teams you say, okay, if it's not Cooper, who's it going to be?
Yep.
They're on that list with Ryle as a chance to, that you would, if you were rank them in an order, they would be up high on the list of teams that have a chance to win the ninth region.
One more team in the ninth region we'll talk about, Holy Cross. Real nice record, 23-4. Ted Arlinghouse is their coach, led by sophomore Jai Johnson at 13.7 points a game, and then Alyssa Arlinghouse is a junior at 12.6. This is another young team. I don't see a senior on their roster.
Yeah, and they lost probably their best overall player to her third knee injury in her career, Demaya.
Wow.
Really good team, always a fun team to watch. Arlinghouse likes to play a real aggressive style. This year he's probably had to dial it back a little bit because he doesn't have the depth, but they can go. They won the All A again, like they've won, it seems like, the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and have done really well down there.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got some talent. I mean, if Demaya Williams was still playing, I mean, I always tell people Demaya is like a high school version of Kevin Durant. I mean, tall, lean, thin, can get up and down the floor. So it's unfortunate that she's hurt because she was averaging 16 a game before she got injured.
Wow.
But it's Jay Johnson. If the Bengals fans might remember her dad, Jeremy Johnson, who was a fullback back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Jay is built like a fullback, and I say that complimentary.
Sure.
And she is one of, you could almost make it like she's the hardest girl in the ninth region to guard off the dribble. When she's got you one-on-one off the dribble, she's a problem because of her skill with her ball handling, as
Mm-hmm.
well as then her strength as well. So she can get to the lane whenever she wants. With her right now, it's just a matter of, is she going to finish? Because I watched her play Ryle, and she was great at getting to the lane, but she just didn't finish enough. But she still had a really good game. So you got her, you got the Alyssa Arlinghouse. Look, if you're an Arlinghouse, you're Teddy's kid, you're going to know how to shoot the basketball, right?
Yeah.
The Eberhard girl transferred from Notre Dame and has had a really nice year for them. Again, I really wish they had Demaya because it would really make the tournament even better. But even without Demaya, they're a team that can be a problem, because they can spread you out. They can put the ball on the floor. Like when they played Ryle this year, one of what a lot of teams do against Ryle, or I'm sorry, what Ryle does against a lot of teams is they'll guard 4 and then they'll sag McLean, the tall girl, in lane and just shut off the lane. Holy Cross was able to bring her out because they got girls that you have to guard and can shoot. So that just opened up the lane for girls like Jay Johnson and Alyssa to penetrate. So strategically, matchup wise, they can be a real challenge. So they are one of the very interesting teams for the tournament. And again, as you mentioned, no seniors. So they are loaded for bear again next year, assuming everyone comes back healthy. But they are one of the, again, one of the teams that you say, okay, can they win the region? Yeah, they can if things lay out a certain way, but they're certainly going to make the region tournament very interesting.
Watson Heating and Cooling is a small business located in northern Kentucky which focuses on customer satisfaction and looking out for the customer's best interest when considering repairs and/or replacements. Because Watson's customers are neighbors, friends, and family, they take extra care to make sure each one receives the best service. Watson Heating and Cooling offers trained, licensed technicians, a courteous staff, and prompt service so that customers become their friends and part of their family. Watson provides goods and services for all your residential and light commercial needs. You can also sign up for their service plan to keep your system in good working order year-round. Call Watson Heating and Cooling today for all your heating and cooling needs at 859-991-4293 or visit their website at www.watsonhac.com. Watson Heating and Cooling, professional service at a neighborly price.
Well, if I would say there's an overall theme to my research and what you're telling me is that the future is bright for girls basketball with all these young players and their talent.
There is one of the challenges we're seeing across the country is the decrease actually in girls participating in girls basketball.
Hmm.
The girls that we have, look, they can play. There's a lot of girls that can play the game, and colleges have noticed, as we see in the recruiting as well.
All right. Well, that's a great assessment of the ninth region. Let's talk about three more teams that are having just outstanding seasons. And that's first off in the 10th region, Bishop Brossard with a record of 24-5. Coach Aaron Stam has them on a nice run.
Yep.
Their leading scorer is a sophomore by the name of Kylie Smith, over 17 points a game, followed by a couple juniors, Grayley Kramer and Hadley Eviston. Have you seen them play?
I have not, and Kylie Smith is on my to-do list to go get check out because everyone that I talk to that knows what they're talking about says the girl is really good, and like you said, she's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
Uh, Aaron Stam has done a nice job. He switched from Ludlow boys and took the girls' job out there, which he was a longtime girls coach out at Connor and has success.
Yep.
He got a really nice team. Again, continuing our theme, only one senior, and she's the fourth leading scorer. So Rachel Schumacher plays a big role for Brossard, does a lot of things for them. Sometimes she's scoring points, but all the time she's rebounding. But Kylie Smith can play, and she's going to be a very nice player for them and set them up for the 10th. Now, the 10th is a challenging region, just like the 9th. They've got the number one team in the state in GRC. They got Campbell County ahead of them, as we'll talk about here in a second. But they won the All A region this year, went down, did well in the tournament. I believe they made it to the semifinals. So they're a legit problem if you get them in the 10th region.
It's nice to see them and just having a great season, and the way that all the sports out there for Brossard have just gotten better year by year, and the new facility they've got.
Yeah,
It's they're heading in a right direction. I'm glad to see
it's
it.
the Brossard's a great community. And it's a true community that seems like there's generations upon generations of families that have gone through there that you just hear the same names over and over. It's a really nice community that sets up their players for success.
Yeah, well, not far down the road is Campbell County. They're 20-4. The Camels are ranked, as far as I saw a couple days ago, fourth in the state in the RPI rankings. The coach is Davy Johnson. They're led by Isabella Jayasuriya, and I am sorry if I mispronounced that. She's a senior.
I just call her Izzy.
All right, Izzy, sounds good. 15.4 points a game, and then Kendall Augsback, a sophomore, is hitting 10.7 points
Yeah.
a game. The Camels are impressive again, right?
Yeah, interestingly enough, Wednesday tonight, within about a 3 mile stretch, you're going to have Holy Cross playing at Bishop Brossard girls, and you're going to have Notre Dame playing at Campbell County. So a lot of
Wow.
good girls, ninth versus 10th ball if you want to cruise up and down 27 and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Campbell's very good. Izzy is, their best player. She's a senior. Pretty sure she's committed to Thomas More. The Augsback girl's a sophomore, and I've only seen her on some video. She can play as well, so she'll step into Izzy's role next year as being the number one go-to option. But she's really good. She's got big range when I've seen her shoot from the outside. She's not afraid to shoot the threes. I mean, she probably needs to shoot a higher percentage, but you can definitely count on her if you need a three, that she's one you're going to go to. Coach Davies done a great job out there. They've in the same region with GRC, so they're going to, have to figure out. Again, this is assuming they both make it. I expect you'll see, both Campbell and Brossard come out of that district and play in the region tournament. But these two teams, and especially Campbell County, because Campbell County did beat Brossard during the year, but only by 10. So, and that was early January. So, we're 2 months later now almost. It feels like, it'll be a fun matchup, and it's a great neighborhood rivalry. So it'll be a really fun district championship should those two make it.
Well, last but not least, we're going to go to the eighth region. Simon Kenton, 25-2. They are second, according to the RPI a couple days ago, in the state. They are coached by Jeff Stowers, led by Brinley Purnell at junior at 18.2 points a game, and then Haley Webb's a senior at 12.9 points per game. Tell me about the Pioneers.
Well, they've earned the distinction of being the number one team in Northern Kentucky. Within about 9 days, they beat Cooper on the road, they beat Frederick Douglass on the road, and they beat, I want to say, Sacred Heart on the road, and they were all top 10 to 12 teams in the state.
Wow.
So Purnell Brindley is just, I mean, she's not very big. She's small, but man, she has got a motor and she's tough. I think she just scored her 2000th point.
Hmm.
She's just, you heard the old, Pete Rose is a gamer. She's a gamer. She will get in that lane with anybody and finishes with her left hand really well. Haley Webb, I think, is also going to Thomas More. She's a senior, plays the five. But, Jeff and, his son before him, when Brenner was the head coach, they don't mind everyone just jacking up threes. So you'll see Haley out there, inside, outside game. Anna Kelch is one that probably doesn't get enough recognition. Very talented player. Well, let's not skip Bella Ober, who's only a sophomore, and I'm pretty sure she's had a couple of offers already as well.
Hmm.
And then you go to an eighth grader, Angela Cabaya, I'm not sure exactly how it says it, and she's been playing really well as late for them. So they've got some talent, and I mentioned Highlands before, having a bunch of talent coming up through the middle school. Simon Kenton is right there with them, got that talent coming up. So they're very good, and Jeff has got them primed. And if you laid out the way the brackets are for the Sweet 16 state tournament, and you say, okay, if Simon, who's probably a heavy favorite in the eighth, if they get there, I mean, they've got a legit chance to be to the quarter or to the semifinals. And I believe they would face GRC, if I recall, and that would be a monster game should they meet up. So, but man, they go. I mean, they're a fun team to watch. They can score and they guard. Like I said, man, they just play an aggressive style of basketball that a lot of people like to watch.
Nice. Well, it sounds like we're in for an exciting district tournament run as well as the regionals. And I appreciate your information and input. You are definitely one in the know. Like I said at the beginning, you've got your thumb on the pulse, and I know who to go to when I need an update on high school basketball around here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Thanks again, Greg. Have a good one.